If it happens, Bud Crawford, oh, absolutely. We'll be there, Stephen A. We'll see Bud Crawford and Canelo. And I want to see that fight. But I would rather see him fight Benavidez. I agree with you.
Landing punches, like just the whole stat. Crawford is leading. And so I do think that it's a tough fight, but I would lean more towards Crawford simply of his, skill set.
That power ain't going to be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch.
Shannon Sharpe did not hold back as he gave a strong warning to Canelo Alvarez about the risk of facing Terence Crawford. Speaking live, he pointed out that even though Crawford fights at 147 pounds, he has regularly sparred with bigger opponents and managed them with ease. Sharpe emphasized that Crawford is now moving up in weight, which adds to the threat he poses. His message for Canelo was direct: if you underestimate Crawford, it could turn out to be a serious mistake.
Great fighters, they're not going to give me my due because I'm going to have 3 or 4 losses. And that's what's happening. Guys won't fight anybody that the fans want to see, or a fighter that's deserving. You're absolutely right. David Benavidez deserved the fight Canelo, but Canelo doesn't want to fight him because he knows there's a greater chance of him losing versus Benavidez versus Bigger Charlo. And so that's what, now, am I going to go see if it happens, Bud Crawford? Oh, absolutely. We'll be there, Stephen A. We'll see Bud Crawford and Canelo. And I want to see that fight, but I would rather see him fight Benavidez. I agree with you.
Daniel Jacobs takes time to analyze the technical sides of both fighters before sharing his view. He points out that Canelo Alvarez is strong and experienced, but Terence Crawford brings a high level of skill into the ring that makes him both unpredictable and dangerous. Jacobs explains that Crawford can adapt quickly and change his fighting style during a match, which often confuses opponents and takes away their strengths. This talent, along with his quick reflexes and smart decision-making in the ring, could give Canelo serious trouble. Jacobs makes it clear that even though Canelo has shown his toughness in battles against hard hitters like Gennady Golovkin, facing Crawford's speed, accuracy, and smart tactics will be a completely different challenge. Because of all this, Jacobs puts his trust in Crawford and believes his better overall skill gives him the advantage.
For instance, when he fought the guy that he lost to just recently.
Bivol.
Yeah. Shout out to Bivol. He wasn't really able to find that niche there, but in spurts, you can see him adapting, right? And so the biggest difference between Bivol and Crawford is the size difference in the power. Even though Bivol was an ultimate boxer, he still was able to keep him off him with the sheer power and strength. But with Crawford, I think that it'll be challenging for Canelo to get around the skill set, but it wouldn't be challenging for him to be able to endure the pain. And so that's what Canelo, because the mindset too is, if you can't hurt me, no matter what you do, I'm going to keep coming forward. So if Canelo can adapt that mindset, take the shots, because he's going to be thrown, and if you look at the stats too, in terms of punch output, in terms of landing punches, like just the whole stat, Crawford is leading. And so I do think that it's a tough fight, but I will lean more towards Crawford simply of his, skill set.
Is this the biggest fight for his legacy? If obviously he wins, I think.
Crawford.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be the biggest win. But given the fact that a lot of people, I think, expect Canelo to win because of the weight, where do you rank this in comparison to that huge fight with Errol Spence?
So if Canelo wins, it would be one of his most top tier wins, but it would also be expected. So I don't know if it would take the umph off of it, rather the other way around, because of the size difference and what all Canelo has been accomplishing for the last however many years,
Oladipo explains that Crawford has a unique quality that sets him apart from most fighters: the ability to cause damage without relying only on raw power. He believes Crawford's timing and precision help him land punches that opponents do not see coming, which makes them more harmful than they look at first. Oladipo says this is exactly why he picks Crawford in a fight against Canelo. He points out that although Alvarez is tough, he can still be outsmarted by fighters who stay focused and avoid getting pulled into brawls. Crawford is very good at this, always staying calm and waiting for the right moment to strike. For Oladipo, this rare mix of smart strategy and punching skill is the reason he has always seen Crawford as the likely winner.
He needs to put that pressure on himself. He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. Yeah. But if he's a man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. That he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's way
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look. Yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo? I don't prove anything.
Canelo would say payday, but Crawford wants to be 3-time undisputed. And if he does that, oh my goodness.
Wow, I mean, that'll be unreal. But look, if he believes in himself, yes, go for it. Yeah. But don't do it if he's got second thoughts. If he's got second thoughts, don't do it. If he has to be 100% confident, and listen, I'll even go and help him for that if I have to. Oh, yeah? You know what I mean? Because look, I love Crawford. I think he's a lovely guy. Because I got to know him when I trained with him away from the boxing ring, away from boxing. And the guy's he's a diamond, you know what I mean? So if I can help him in any way, I'd love to do that. But look, but if I was him, just enjoy. Yeah. Enjoy what you've got now, and don't take no risks.
I think you just got to watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. But stick to what you're good at.
Boozy Ennis praises Crawford's efficiency in the ring, saying that every punch he throws has a clear purpose. Unlike many fighters who waste energy on random shots, Crawford chooses carefully when and how to attack. Ennis points out that this level of discipline shows Crawford's high boxing IQ, helping him land with both accuracy and power by saving energy and picking the right moments. Crawford makes it hard for his opponents to find chances to strike back. This habit also makes him very dangerous in long fights as he keeps his stamina and slowly breaks down his opponents. Ennis believes this kind of control and sharpness will be key in a fight against Canelo, where even small advantages can make a big difference against such an experienced fighter.
Terence, though, people don't understand. He can box and he's smart.
Yes.
He don't waste no punches, man.
He don't waste no punches.
And he's really smart, man, when it comes to that boxing game. But it was me and I'm training him.
Yeah.
I would have him frustrating Canelo. What I would do with him, I would hit him with some good shots, combination shots, because you know, Canelo got to be set to throw punches.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? If Crawford boxing move, he don't like nobody to boxing move, and that's what I think Crawford is going to do. And then
Diego Pacheco gives a balanced view by recognizing how both fighters have their own ways to win. He says Crawford, with his sharp skills and strong defense, is more likely to win on points over 12 rounds instead of trying to stop someone as tough as Canelo. On the other hand, Pacheco points out Canelo's strong power, especially to the body, which gives him a real chance to get a knockout if he lands clean shots. Pacheco believes this difference shows the styles in this fight. Crawford relies on timing and combinations, while Canelo brings pressure and heavy punches. In his opinion, the result will come down to which fighter can control the pace of the match.
What are your thoughts on that Canelo versus Crawford fight? How do you see that fight going, and what's your prediction?
Oh, that's a very, very good fight. You know, two great fighters. I grew up admiring them my whole life, you know, so I'm excited for that fight. I think Crawford is a hell of a fighter. You know, if it goes the distance, he might be able to get that decision win. But I think if there's a knockout, then it might be Canelo who's getting the knockout win. But I'm ready to watch the fight. You know, I'm going to be a big fan that night, and just be rooting for both guys. You know, they're both great fighters.
Ade Oladipo looks back on Canelo's career and points out that even though the Mexican star is still a top fighter, he is no longer the unstoppable force he used to be. He remembers the 2018 rematch with Golovkin as the peak version of Alvarez, When his skill, strength, and confidence were at their best, Oladipo reminds us that this was 7 years ago. And since then, while Canelo has remained strong, his performances have shown some decline. He suggests that training with young, hungry fighters like Jaron Boots Ennis might be Canelo's way of trying to get back some sharpness that has naturally faded over time. This brings up the question of whether Canelo's current level is enough to deal with Crawford, who is now at the top of his game. Oladipo's view raises doubt about whether experience alone can make up for the loss of peak physical ability.
But he fought a very, very good Canelo. I don't think that Crawford is fighting the best Canelo anymore. Again, the Canelo I'm talking about, I mean, second Golovkin fight, I thought was fucking incredible. That was, when was that? Geez, that feels like a long, long time ago. Second Golovkin fight was 2018. So I'm saying peak Canelo, although still very, very good, people, peak Canelo for me was 6 years ago. It's a long time, or 5.5 years. That's a long time. In fact, exactly 15th of September. So it'll be to the day 5 years. Have I got them? What was I talking about? Sorry, almost 7 years ago. Jeez, that's a long time ago. Where some might say peak Crawford was Errol. So, shit, I didn't realize how long ago that was. And he's clearly not that same guy anymore. He clearly isn't. He's no longer fighting elite fighters. I mean, unless you're going to say William Skull was elite, Edgar Berlanga, no, Munguia, no, Jamel, no, John Ryder, no, third Golovkin fight, no. So he's no longer fighting the best, but he still is very good, and he's still a top 168 pounder. And I think this is why people are saying it is a 50-50 fight now, because we can see the deterioration in Canelo. Like, say what you want about William Skull, Canelo looked poor in that fight as well. Everyone's like, oh, William Skull ran. Well, Canelo didn't cut off the exits. Canelo wasn't great himself. Canelo's punch output was horrendous. So we can clearly see the deterioration. That said, he is the naturally bigger guy. I just mentioned the fact that Crawford's put on size, but the naturally bigger guy in this weight class is Canelo. That has to count for something.
Regis Prograis firmly pushes back against the idea that Crawford's power will be a serious problem for Canelo. He argues that Alvarez has already faced naturally bigger fighters, including hard-hitting champions, without showing any major weakness. Prograis highlights Canelo's well-known ability to take punches, saying he is one of the strongest chins in boxing, which makes him very hard to hurt. Still, Prograis does not count Crawford out completely. He admits that Crawford's smart tactics, movement, and ability to adapt give him a real chance to outbox Canelo, but he believes power alone will not be enough, and Crawford will need to depend mostly on his skills and fight plan if he wants to beat such a strong and physically tough opponent.
You know, I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at, and then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol, you know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that, but I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee, you know. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, you know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be, I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever. One of them, at least, right? You talk about Canelo and Crawford going up against him. So the only thing they have, but I would say the only thing he has going for him is he's a skillful fighter, and Canelo is older.
Crawford's trainer highlights how important conditioning will be in this fight. He says that if Canelo starts to slow down or get tired as the match goes on, it will give Crawford the chance to take advantage using his faster speed. Crawford is known for getting stronger in the later rounds, often increasing his pressure when opponents begin to wear down his speed, helps him land clean counterpunches while avoiding shots in return, punishing any drop in energy from the other side. The trainer points out that against someone like Crawford, even a small loss in movement or reaction time can lead to big problems. This puts pressure on Canelo to keep a fast and steady pace for the whole fight, which is a tough challenge at this point in his career.
Throughout the fight, watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. If you slow down, that's a fucking wrap.
That's what you've been seeing in these last couple fights from him?
I mean, yeah. Fuck yeah. I seen him slow down going into the later rounds, and I didn't see his ass get outboxed.
Brian McIntyre, and I will say this openly, is one of the best trainers in boxing. He absolutely knows his job, and I know he knows his job better than I know his job. So take my observation with a grain of salt. However, sometimes I get these things right, and I think that Brian McIntyre is making a miscalculation. Now, what do I mean? He basically said that one of the biggest advantages that Terence Crawford has over Canelo Alvarez is that Canelo Alvarez slows down, and that he says that after round 6, round 7, that Canelo Alvarez usually starts slowing down, and if he slows down against Terence Crawford, that is going to be a very, very huge mistake, and Terence Crawford is going to be able to take advantage of that. All right, first and foremost, let me say this. If it was the case that Terence Crawford was fighting Canelo Alvarez at 147 pounds, or even at 154 pounds, and Canelo Alvarez started slowing down, that definitely could be very, very big trouble against a guy like Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford is an incredible counterpuncher, and if you show him any openings...
The Atlas gives a strong endorsement of Crawford's chances. He calls Crawford a complete fighter with the discipline, adaptability, and mental toughness needed to beat anyone, even when moving up in weight. Atlas says that Canelo is no longer the hungry fighter he used to be, and suggests that years of fame and success have dulled his edge. He even goes as far as to say that Canelo is overrated compared to Crawford, and points out that recent fights show signs of decline.
Get mad again, or you could agree again. It's up to you, whatever. But he's made so much money that the urgency's not there, the fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. At least I say that. It wasn't there a week ago. Maybe it'll be there now. Maybe he's the kind of guy that, and I get it, that at this point in their career, it has to be a big fight to get up. That Canelo can't get up for these fights. He couldn't get up for that fight. All right, if you want to go down that road, go ahead. But my road is still possible. That he got old, that it just doesn't have that fire no more. Oh my God, I'm going to say this one, that maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, I know he's tremendous. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? If you look at some of his biggest fights, the fights where you had to be great to win, that you fought great fighters or near great fighters, you know, you could make the argument that he lost the first Triple G.
Jose Vargas Jr. shares an insider's view. Having sparred with Crawford, he recognizes Crawford's sharpness and accuracy, but doubts whether his punches have enough power to seriously hurt someone as durable as Canelo. Vargas notes that Alvarez has already shown he can take punishment from bigger and stronger fighters like Golovkin and Kovalev. However, Vargas agrees that power is not everything in boxing. He admits that Crawford's timing, consistency, and ability to disrupt an opponent's rhythm can frustrate even the toughest fighters. While Vargas does not think Crawford's punches alone will stop Canelo's aggression, he agrees that Crawford has the skills to make the fight very competitive and possibly win on points.
But Crawford, what work is left? What else is going to be done in camp?
You know, all we're doing is putting the final touches. I mean, I've been sparring Ron Ellis. I mean, this guy is a dog, bro. He's been getting me ready. I mean, he's been Canelo's sparring partner. Shout out to my guy Ron, man. He comes, tries to knock me out every single sparring. This guy fights at 68. Big dude, goes southpaw. and hits hard. So I know he fought Benavidez. So you know, he's a veteran, and he's doing veteran tactics in there where he's not letting me rest in the clinch. He's making me work every second of every round. And I got something for Callum. I got something for the whole boxing world. And you know, I feel you're just as good as your preparation. And we've been doing the road work. We've been doing the mountain work. I've been recovering hard. I've been getting my rest. You know, I haven't been drinking no dark sodas, bro.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. And until next time.